Excuse me, did you know that 30% of grade 3 students lack basic literacy skills? That means in a class of 26 kids, 8 of us are gonna fall behind.
We're 4 times more likely to drop out of high school.
4 times. I'm more likely to end up on welfare.
I'm more likely to commit a crime. We're the future of this country.
Don't you want us to succeed?
The community of Fairview is just a beautiful community that really unites and sticks together. Most of our families would be single-parent families, some who are struggling to work or are not able to work. We have students coming and going a lot throughout the year. They're transient because of poverty issues. And for a lot of kids, school is where they feel rooted. We help clothe and feed.
Nice to see you. Nice to see you. Good morning, Fairview.
Many of our kindergarten children
We have 2 new students this morning.
come in
Jacob.
with much less literacy knowledge than other children I've known. So we already know that we're a little bit behind the 8 ball because literacy affects every area of their academics. It's so hard because we don't have the finances to be able to give what we believe these kids need and deserve.
I got one foot on the pavement, I got one foot in the door. Oh, but now I got here, I've been here before.
We came out with suitcases and backpacks, and when you moved from Manitoba, being a single parent wasn't what I ever set out to do. And it took a while to get established. Fairview was a big part of that. The library there is essential, really, to keep them reading.
There's this one book I liked so much. I read it in like one sitting. It was like 300 pages because I forgot about the part where I was supposed to stop.
I like fiction books because I like to read books where I can like act like I'm in the book.
We don't have that much money for the books, so I'm relying on the school library.
Books are expensive, so it's super important to us that they have access to a library with selection.
Why should I disappear?
Here we have a collection of very tattered, old, outdated, unappealing books. And when there are books like this on the shelf, children are not so excited about reading. They're just not that appealing. It looks like somebody's dog has actually chewed this one here. Here we have an engineer, and he's at his drafting table for Sony, and you can see the latest and greatest Walkman. This is a telephone. A lot of kids would actually look at this and say, what is this? I don't know what this is. Originally written in 1961, we have the revised version made in 1970. Pretty sure the technology has come a ways since 1970 in terms of rockets and satellites. My library budget for the entire year is $1,300. So that means that with our population of about 310 students, that's $4.20 a year per student. So you will see me at garage sales in the summer, on weekends, digging through piles and finding books that kids would be interested in reading. Because I want them to have books. And this is not good enough for them. So we need to do better.
it's cutting the heart out of the school literacy program. They've just been underfunded and understaffed for the longest time, and now our school libraries are starting to die. It's that simple.
Someone tell me how I got here, from the city to this frontier.
It's the most disadvantaged in society who are the most affected. All public schools are suffering from a chronic underfunding of their libraries, but in the more affluent areas, parents are bridging the gap. In the more economically challenged areas, the parents just don't have the money. They want their kids to learn to read, but they don't have the funds, and the schools don't have the funds.
Does Moosh look happy? No.
So in 2004, we decided to establish the Indigo Love of Reading Foundation. And our ambition was to grant as many high-need schools as we could with the funds necessary to truly transform their libraries.
For the 8th year, we're applying for the chapter's Indigo Love of Reading grant. And I know there's lots of other eligible schools that probably deserve it just as much, but even to be considered is really a big thing.
Life goes on, and the people sing their song.
I completely applaud corporations that provide resources for schools. But to be honest with you, that's not their job. It's the job of the government. And to not do that is to betray the very meaning of education itself, to betray the children who get left behind. The question has to be raised, who benefits from that?
This is one of my favorite pictures. I would really recommend it for any boy who likes adventure and other stuff like that.
My favorite book is This Is Not My Hat. Books are just amazing things.
There were all sorts of remarkable things in there she'd never seen before. Wind-up angels that fluttered around the bedroom like startled sparrows. Books with pictures that
writhed and crawled and shimmered. Little dinosaur skulls that chattered their teeth as she passed. A whole toy box filled with wonderful toys. This is more like it, thought Coraline. A book is a dream you hold in your hands. Every child should have access to books. For me, the idea of schools without books is almost nonsensical. And it's happening now more and more. There are just schools where they don't have the money. And books are seen as a luxury.
Yesterday, you worked really, really hard and you chose a topic of your choice from the Gold Rush. I have 30 of these books. They were published in 1969.
Actually, Miss Keane said these were made a year before she was born.
The information is fairly relevant, but it's so hard for the children to find. There's no subtitles, there's no direction. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, 5 to 10 facts. Do your best.
Yeah, it would be easier if we had more research books. Because if we had more research books, that means we'd have more to pull from.
Right here is the really extreme hardest to read. Yeah, I can't even read this. Like, it's way too hard. I need a magnifying glass.
They do supply information, but these two books just aren't enough.
They don't relate to this book at all.
If you want me to love reading, you gotta give me books, right?
I love that libraries and librarians can change kids' lives. One kid being given the right book, you will change a life forever.
So it's perfect for you then, right? You're interested in it, you can read it, it's perfect for you.
Libraries are special. because they're the places that basically introduce kids to the world outside of the school, because they trade in the imagination. They trade in educating young people to get excited about a world outside of the immediacy of their own lives.
Why isn't my school library open all the time?
Over the last 10 years, librarians have become an endangered species.
Noah, you are set.
If a school is without a librarian, the collection starts to decay, and no one knows what books to buy, and the teachers stop using it.
I actually have to work at 2 school libraries. I'm here 3 days a week, and I have to work at another school library 2 days a week. And when I'm not at either school, that library is closed.
So when you are cutting library funding, you are saying that literacy is not important. You're saying wisdom is not important. All you are doing, in essence, is stealing from the future.
As a society, we're acting as if engaging young children in reading is just not that important. I don't think anyone, not our political leaders, our opinion leaders, or frankly, Canadians across the board, know how bad the situation is. It is a crisis.
I couldn't actually believe Canada could have a problem with something so basic as literacy. It's really hard to find an investment that pays off a bigger return than investing in literacy.
My love cannot stand tall. My love is a foggy.
It enables you to develop other skills. It enables you to get better jobs. It enables you to have better income. It enables you to become more positively involved in your society. What happens if you don't have the literacy skills? Well, the doors of opportunity get slammed shut.
I can't read well enough to fill out a job application, so at 30, I'm on welfare.
I get pregnant at 15 and drop out of school.
No kid should have to be placed in a situation that will determine that for the rest of his or her life, all that kid will have to think about is surviving. That's a crime to do that to a kid, in my estimation.
Okay, keep reading.
Literacy gets seen as a sort of soft skill, and it's not. It's a bedrock skill. It's actually at the foundation of everything.
The fact is, if I'm not reading by grade 3, you're asking for trouble.
We need to be investing in the workforce of the future, and that means making sure that the kids are actually getting the literacy skills training that they require. The fact that 30% of kids aren't getting the scores they need is an unacceptable outcome.
How could any society allow 30% of its young people to be written off? You measure the worth of a society by the degree to which you invest in children. And it seems to me that when literacy is one of the lowest indexes in which that society invests, that tells you a society is failing. It's failing its children, it's failing the future, and it's failing future generations.
The more that you read, the more things you will know. The more that you learn, the more places you'll go.
It was only passing through.
We all know that a reader is a leader, and these are just the future that we have. And literacy is just key. Reading actually is like light coming in and opening up every child.
Read a book. Yeah.
When kids learn to read from this age, it helps them because the foundation has been set. So library is very, very important.
If I want to be an engineer, I'll have to have a pretty good vocabulary. So reading will help me do that, and it helps my imagination grow bigger.
The imagination, metaphorically at least, is a muscle. When somebody gives you a book, they are giving you raw code. They are saying, here are 26 letters and a handful of punctuation marks, and you can use them to build a world.
Don't go scavenging. Scavenging. Good.
I wish you could just see when those kids unlock the code, especially kids that have never unlocked it before, that sense of accomplishment. It can only bring you confidence.
It's going to start turning your brain on, because you are making this stuff happening. You're not passive. You are a contributor.
I'm on an airplane or like scuba diving or battling space aliens. It's really cool. I love reading because it gives you more emotions and a chance to live more lives.
One of the amazing things that literature does is it puts us inside somebody else's head. We experience their emotions. And that, I think, is enormous, because it gives us, at a very, very young age, the leap that tells us that other people matter.
Time stands still.
So the experiment was one that was designed to see whether reading a piece of fiction would have an effect on people's empathy. Some people are reading fiction, some people are reading non-fiction, and then after that, they take a test which is called the Mind in the Eyes test. It's a very good test of empathy and understanding others. In the test, the person is going to look at 36 photographs of people's eyes, and for each one, choose one of 4 descriptors. Things like concentrating, anxious, angry. So really, it's a test of social understanding. The results show that those who read fiction were better at the Mind in the Eyes test, and so better at understanding others. Because you're actually engaging with fictional characters, what you need to do in order to understand the story is to understand the people. The better we could become at that, then it's likely that the better our societies would be. And so reading fiction isn't just entertainment. It's a way of improving and practicing our thinking about what's at the very, very center of human life.
Can you read me the book?
If you cannot read, you are automatically disenfranchised. Without literacy, you're not part of society. You're simply on the outside.
My name is Ron, and I'm in jail for murder. Growing up, reading was really hard for me, you know, because I never really had books. So I came from a poor family, you know, so it was kind of hard. It's hard talking about this, you know, like just saying that, like, you know, you can't read and stuff like that, you know, it's hard, you know, being able to admit that. That's why more time I was like, whatever, man, I'm not even going back to school. I don't want no one making fun of me. Oh, you can't read. They call me up to the blackboard to do something and I can't even do it. I don't want to go through that embarrassment, you know? I mean, if you were able to read, you would focus on doing other things. Like you start living a life of crime, and I see everything that I was missing out on learning about stuff. I just want to be able to read to my daughter, read a book to her. Simple things. Dropping out of school was a big mistake.
You're more than trapped. It's a kind of trap that people often don't understand. Illiteracy is a recipe for failure. These are kids who are going to be punished for not having access to the resources they should never have been denied in the first place.
Open this book and you will see a secret path called poetry. Follow the path and you will find a home for your heart and a treat for your mind.
So we've been working on our grant application for the Indigo Love of Reading Foundation. And I was hoping that you could tell me a little bit more about your dream library floor plans.
I think we should have like a little research lab.
The thing I like about my library, because of this big area, they show like new books here.
More bookshelves for more books. And I love books, so more bookshelves. All right, I like it. I like that plan.
I think that we could have like a mini house that we could go in to read with bookshelves on the side of it.
I really want like some couches and some bean bags and some pillows.
I think that would be pretty cool.
You've done some really cool stuff with them. Wouldn't it be neat if these actually really came to be? We could say to them, look, you created this. It was your ideas, your inspiration.
Your dreams,
your
your
vision,
voice.
what you feel would make a dream library.
It was filled with the fluttering of countless pages, and Morris could hear the faint chatter of 1,000 different stories, as if each book was whispering an invitation to adventure.
It takes so little money to transform a school, and by extension, to transform the entire community. We have seen this firsthand so many times, and it is remarkable.
Sun shines brightly through the window pane. Day has broken, but I'm staying here.
There's an owl and a bird, and I only have one book. One.
I could just see the kids when one new book comes into the classroom, how much it means to them. And what it would mean to be able to walk into a whole library full. I have a hard time even imagining it because it just seems like it would be so wonderful.
In 2007, and that grant over 3 years gave us the opportunity to fill this library with all of its shelves and all of the books so that our kids get to see all kinds of beautiful literacy resources. Thank you.
I don't even like to read. I only read when I'm bored. When I have nothing to do.
I'd say it definitely did help me, because after we got the grant, there was more books than we know what to do with.
I read books to learn.
Well, it helps a lot, especially because I'm trying to find my own career now. Like, I'm trying to do some welding, and I need to learn how to read blueprints. So I'm reading books on how to, read all the blueprints, like all the measurements and the correct angles and stuff.
And I did a picture of this, me at my desk reading. It's just me reading, learning some stuff,
It had a very positive impact, I would say. I was able to just go around and choose whatever kind of books I wanted, whatever interested me, and I think it just shaped who I was.
Why do you think I have a big of a head? The size of a pumpkin.
It really transformed our community. It wasn't a one-time drop in the bucket. It wasn't a one-off. It was really a continuing legacy of literacy and community in this school.
I'm an extreme reader.
The state of our nonfiction collection is in such dire straits that I really felt this year that I had to dedicate the entire budget to nonfiction resources. So you can see this would take up about half of one shelf in the library, and this is every single dollar of the library budget this year. That means that not a single dollar can be spent on fiction. No picture books, no novels, only this for the entire year.
While budgets for school libraries are being cut, teachers are putting their hands in their own pockets to buy books for their classrooms. It just seems unfair that this burden falls on our teachers.
My book collection has taken me approximately 17 years to collect. I insure them through my house insurance. I have it insured for $4,000. Out of this collection, I would say 50 books belong to Fairview, and the rest have Noreen Keene stamped into them in various locations.
I picked out this Weird But True 7 book because I like to be mystified, and if you look inside, it's a Keene book. How to do your homework without throwing up, because it was just a really interesting title. And so far, this one, and this one are all Miss Keene's books. She has lots of them.
When I'm reading, it feels like I'm in a movie set and like I'm actually a movie star.
It's like something you can go to if you're feeling down. That's what I do. Like if I'm a little bit sad, I'll start reading.
The big fish got his hat back.
Thank you so much for sharing.
9 out of 10 times when I raise the issue of literacy, people yawn. It isn't on the surface a sexy problem. And I think part of the reason is most people just assume that everybody learns to read in our schools. But it's just not true. We need to aspire to 100% of our kids being rich, confident readers by the time they complete 3rd grade. And nothing short of that ambition is good enough.
This is a school of kids that you give a pencil and their eyes light up. So if they were to get something like a library and the books that this Indigo Love of Reading grant provides, it would never be taken for granted.
It would just be really great because then there would be more opportunities to learn, to like find a different thing that you find that you love.
And they deserve it because they work really hard. And I always think that these beautiful kids deserve the best of what's out there because there's so much potential and possibility in them. And I never, ever want to be someone who thinks they can't, because they can.
Good morning.
Good morning, Jane. It's Heather Reisman calling from the Indigo Love of Reading Foundation. I have about 300 members of the Indigo family, all of whom, yes.
Hi, everybody.
One of the things that really interests me as I look through your application, I think this is the 8th time. I am interested to know if any of the people who have been part of this application for 5 or 6 or 7 years are in the room today.
I have been for 5 years. This is Heather Lyons, teacher librarian.
What gave you the energy to keep doing it even after not succeeding so many years?
Sorry, I'm tearing up a little bit. The only possible answer is the kids. It's for no other reason. It's only to get books in the hands of our kids because they need them.
Well, that's so awesome, and I am so pleased to tell you that your application this year has, in fact, been accepted. I cannot think of a more deserving school. Really and truly, we are appreciative for everything you do every single day to inspire these kids.
Wow. Good morning, Fairview. This morning we had that phone interview that I told you about. By the look on my face, you can probably tell we didn't do well. We did great!
From a small town of hard-working folks, we're all born rich and we all die broke. And from this moment, forever I can hope. What could I say?
My kids devour books, so I'm super excited that they got it. I've had a smile on my face since I showed up at the school, and it's kind of hard to let go.
And we all know that the sun will shine. I must go chase this dream of mine. And I know I can do you proud when I'm high above those clouds at all.
My secret wish is that we take a field trip and they get to go and choose a brand new book that's left behind for future students. And when I told my class that was my secret wish, they just erupted. And they said, but Ms. Keene, you always make learning fun. And I said, yeah, but now I can make learning easy. And so I thank you.